Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss current affairs and guess it for today, 24th of January 2022. Before we begin, let me welcome everybody here quickly. Good evening to all of you who are participating in the discussion. Hi Kriti. Hello Lokeshwar. Hello Amlan. Hi Sam. Hello Netra. Good evening Lost Soul. Hi Babani. Hima. Good evening. And then we have Pooja. Good evening. I have noted down your concerns. Let's have a word on this on the chats. Hi UPSC wala. Good evening. Hello Anonymous. Welcome. Jyotish, Ashish, Akhila. Good evening. Hi Jugnu. And we have certain other people as well joining. Hi Kriti. All right. Hi Surya. Hi Somik. Good evening to all of you. Now, before we begin, I have read all your answers and I really appreciate the content that you have started to write. See, most of you have written down exactly what is required. The points mentioned on what is the impact of increasing consumption of medicines around the world, you have rightly mentioned. And it's good that you are commending each other for the right points because I'm sure that you would be noting down the points that the other person has also written. Not everybody is going to write down the same views and same points, right? Because there are so many for us to cover. And I might as well, when we cover this topic, we might cover 3, 4, 5 of them. But here you get a huge perspective into how we can think and what we are missing, right? So what I see with you people right now is the various points, keywords. I also want to see some data. For example, a couple of you have put some data towards the end, right? 12th largest exporter of medical goods. Yes, absolutely, Hima. Very good. Not only that, there are data, for example, India is also amongst the three world most popular countries in pharma production, right? So these are the kind of data. In fact, I just mentioned that in the last meeting, right? Last conversation, and the Prime Minister himself explained this in the speech, right? Hello, Ravi. Good evening to you as well. Now, I would like to see the 3 A's. I would like you to see the 3 A's written by Kriti here. The 3 A's: availability, accessibility, and affordability. Absolutely. Thank you very much. And once you remember this, you will put this down not only for the medical industry, but for education industry also. Availability, accessibility, and affordability. These are 3 different points, but very much interrelated. And above this, you can put another one is the quality. Quality of drugs, quality of education. All right. So the 3 A's here. Beautifully put. Thank you very much. All right. So moving ahead with the conversation today, what do we have? Before we begin this, let me show you the context of what we are doing, right? So a quick small parable, a fable about this. 3 people were asked, they were masons, samajhte ho? They're laborers, and they were working to create a structure, a monument, a building. So one of them was asked, what are you doing? So he says, just earning daily wage, right? Putting bricks and putting the mortar so that I may earn my daily living. I'll go back home, earn something for the family. This is my context. This is the first person. The second one said, I am building something that was asked to build by the emperor, by the person who wanted this building to be created. So I am committed to creating a good monument, right? This is my purpose. This is the second person who responded. And the third person, they said, I am building the most remarkable, the most beautiful, astounding monument for the sign of love. Now see, each of them were building the same monument. Each of them, 3 laborers, were building the same monument. But look at the context from where they were operating. Now, through this, what I want to say to you is that we all are studying the same limited sources. We all have got the same amount of time, 24 hours. Nobody is gifted with 25 or 48 hours in a day, right? Nobody. It is our priorities and it is the context in which we are working. Now, one context could be when you are looking at so many answers which have been written, the person who knows how to take out the gems and diamonds would immediately write down the keywords here from all the others, because they contributed to 4 of them, and there are some people contributing to distinct 1 or 2 or 3 points or something that I am contributing to. So this is what is your gem, right? The context from which you are operating. And do remember, what else is the exam about? The exam is about health sector, education sector. Now this will come in paper 1, this will come in governance paper 2, society, government initiatives, social issues paper 1. This will also come as a part of economy. This will also be as a part of your essay paper. So it will be in your words, the context that you build. That is very, very important, right? So many of you have already started building the context, and the context is not just clearing the exam to know, you know. So if I remember the Three Idiots movie, Ranchod Das would keep on saying all the time, right? He would say, kamyabi ke, you know, he said kamyabi ke sahab, but he said something about that. Do you remember that? He said something, काबिल बनो, कामयाबी छक मार के पीछे चली आती रहेगी, right? So let's become more aware, more informed, and then success will follow ourselves, right? Be it the first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt in the examination. And this is why the context that we have will be larger than this. Act as if you do, act as if what you do does make a difference. Everything, every small bit that you're doing right now, because it actually does make a difference, right? So this is the quick lesson that I wanted to share. The first thing, getting back to the news that we have, important things. The first one is BNPL, buy now, pay later. We have discussed this in one of the terms, but one of you, Bhavani, asked me a question, and the question was why these transactions were not recorded by BNPL when buy now, pay later scheme. This scheme was launched by NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, right? And some of these companies who said that you take the product right now from the shop, but you pay us later. They did not put these products in the log book and did not give it to RBI. RBI was not happy overall, and it said to all the NBFCs that I need all the details of BNPL schemes and how many customers do you have. So a quick context to this and then answer also, because this question does deserve some more understanding. Remember this, act as if what you're doing makes a difference. It does. So I actually feel that this has got far more insights than what we had spoken. Thank you for asking this question, right? So before that, what is shadow banking? See, many NBFCs have come into competition with banks. They can lend, NBFCs can lend money, right? And banks also can lend monies. But when NBFCs lend money, or other institutions, microfinance institutions, they lend money and they don't tell RBI or don't keep a track of the lendings and share it with Reserve Bank of India, then it becomes shadow banking. Could be illegal, could be something that they don't want to reveal, right? So because of this, RBI said that this shadow banking we must be aware of, and by the end of the day they should be able to know who all have lent how much to who all persons. This is first part of it. The second one I want to share with you is that digital lending has gone up. Now this is the keyword. Smart ones, each of you, I know you will pick up this keyword, digital lending. Digital lending has gone up during the last few years, 3-4 years, and more so specifically in the last 2 years after Corona pandemic, right? So Amazon when we shop in Amazon, have you seen this part? Instant credit up to 20,000 pay next month or in EMIs. Have you seen this part? This is the most common thing here. So this is what is called as BNPL, right? These kind of credits have only risen, not only by banks, but by non-bank companies also. And non-bank companies are not even giving a registered log. They're not even registering these payments and showing to RBI. Although their percentage of total lending is not high. It is only 2%. But see, the consumption base is high. Many people are picking up these products. If they pick up today, tomorrow they will have a habit of taking the credit. This is what is happening in developed countries, economies like USA, in Europe, and India is picking up this habit right now, right? So if you have friends abroad, they would tell more stories about if the money comes as 100 rupees towards the end of the month, this money will not be used to pay for the next month. If this is January month payment coming at the end of Jan, it will not be utilized to pay February month rent, February month credit for our food and electricity. This end of the month pay will be utilized to pay everything that we have consumed beforehand. Credit, life on loan. Slowly and steadily, this habit is going to get transferred to a country like India also. And this is why right now 0% pay they are paying the loans, but slowly and steadily they will increase the rates, right? So why did they not log these? The question that was raised by Bhavani. The answer is this, that if the interest rate is 0%, they don't fall under definition of credit. It is not loan. So if it is 0.5%, it is loan. You can put it here. But if it is 0%, they said we will not log it. And wherever you are hiding details, it is a possibility that there is some proneness to corruption. That is why RB said we need more transparency here, right? Right. So they say, what is this? Why 0%? What has been exclaimed is seamless user experience. What is user experience? That I should be able to purchase the product. So seamless user experience. This is one that they say. The second one they say is enhanced customer engagement. What is the engagement? You are making them pay. You're making them take the product and then pay only, no, later. You're not decreasing the amount. So under the garb of these, what you're actually doing is making them a habit of seeing the product, consumerism, and making them pay. Not now, but later, and then slowly, steadily, you know what happens, right? So this is why it is in news. And the RBI also wants to standardize something called as FLDG. Standardize FLDG, first loss default guarantee. First loss default guarantee. Important word here, keyword here. So first loss default guarantee is synonymous to credit guarantee, right? So if I am a farmer, example, and I took a loan of, or a street vendor, remember street vendor scheme, we did that. So if I'm a person, I have taken a loan of 10,000 rupees from the bank, I could not pay it back in time. So this is the first loss default. First loss default happening with the bank, and then the one who is financing this bank, you know, they will bear this first credit loss, and after that this person will be rated as their CIBIL score will go down. So this is the eventual thing. Thank you for asking this question, and I hope that it clarifies to all the people something new for all of us. All right, okay, good enough. All right, great. Let's begin. One more important thing that came up in the news was the place where Amar Jawan Jyoti was established. That place has now changed. So it was in debates. Why are you letting out the flame, eternal flame? So quick background to all these things, and a question to you before that. India Gate, is this the memorial which also has the people's name, people who sacrificed their life post-independence, or is it only pre-independence, or is it both of them? The names inscribed here, is it for post, pre, or all both of them, right? So this is a question. Please reply back in comments section right now. Meanwhile, India Gate. Now this is the structure which was established in 1920s, and later in 1930s, another structure, another canopy structure, if you can see this was established, this canopy structure, right? It was established later in 1930s later. And the main idea was to commemorate those soldiers of who had sacrificed life for British Indian Army before independence, namely a few wars that were fought in the First World War and later after that. I will tell you the names. And it was also called as All India War Memorial. It was called as All India War Memorial back then, not India Gate, right? And later, when India also won over Pakistan in the 1971 war, then an Amar Jawan Jyoti was established. These are 4 urns where there are flames lit, 4 of them, and 4 of them would be lit in important function days, but otherwise only one of them would be lit once, right? So all the time one of them would be definitely lit. And in 1971 we also placed an inverted gun here, along with a rifle, along with helmet of a soldier, right? So this is to signify the lives which were given by all the soldiers, unknown, unsung heroes, right? So this is the significance of Amar Jawan Jyoti. May they live forever. This is the significance. Now, in 1930s, another structure was built. This structure was built, canopy, and after that, King George V statue was also placed here, right? Because he was the king of England. He's the same man on whose arrival in Mumbai in 1911, there was an establishment of another monument, the Gateway of India. Gateway of India was established so that he could be welcomed from Gateway, from within Gateway he would walk inside, right? Those were the times when they would not use aeroplanes. No, there were no aeroplanes. It was still 1911, and remember Wright brothers, That was the only, decade in which they were establishing the aeroplanes. So his, figure was placed here. And then there were, after independent India, there was a lot of chaos. Should there be Mahatma Gandhi statue here? Should there be Nehru statue here? After that, 1968, the statue was removed, King George V's, because he was, it was reminder of the colonial times, and we should place independent India's heroes here, right? So then the whole place was left empty, and now the plan has been to erect a statue of Subhas Chandra Bose, right? Also commemorating his birthday, 23rd of January, as what day? What is the day his birthday now commemorated as? Please tell me the name. 23rd of January. So right now a holographic image, but later a statue will be built here, right? So this is the update from here. Now the reason that they have lit out the flame here is because another national memorial has been built. This is called as National War Memorial. Now this is the place where all the soldiers' names who sacrificed their lives post-independence, it has been embodied here, and the structure has been actually beautifully built. Although we might not be aware, but I will quickly share what it is about. And there is also an eternal flame lit here. Now the problem was that if there would be Independence Day, people would go here. But if dignitaries arrive, foreign dignitaries, they would come here and lay wreath the flowers here. So there would be confusion about these two places, where to go, where not to go. So let's have one place to ensure where you have to lit the flame, right? And where we have to pay homage and respect. This was the place chosen, and this is independent India's symbol. This is one reason. The other thing is that yep, that's it. So this is what is written on India Gate right now, right? So if you look at the places now, pre-question here: France, Mesopotamia, Persia, East Africa, Gallipoli, and elsewhere in Near and Far East, and Third Afghan War, right? These are the wars where Indians fought, and their names are inscribed at India Gate, right? But if you see this structure, the National War Memorial, here 26,466 names have been inscribed. All of those people who sacrificed their life in independent India as soldiers in different wars. And this circular space has got 4 chakras. The outermost chakra is called as the Raksha chakra, right? Protection chakra. Then we have Tyag chakra. Tyag means sacrifice, right? Chakras. See, these are the chakras. And then we have the Veerta chakra, bravery, and the 4th Amar chakra. And after Amar chakra, we have the Amar Jawan Jyoti lit here, right? So this is the significance of this place. And after each person who sacrifices their life, another stone which has gold embedding, right? Their name is inscribed along the chakras here, right? So this is the new monument that is why in news. All right. So proceeding ahead with the other important articles of the current affairs today. All right. Parakram Divas. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kriti, Somik, Lost Soul, Pooja, all of you. Very good. Amlan, very good. Now, none of you did answer. All right, let me see if you answered that. 1971 what? Post-independence war. No, it wouldn't increase the problems. South Korea credit card crisis. Okay, Hima has a question here. Sir, wouldn't it increase problems like we see in present South Korea credit card crisis, where people spent more than they earned or afford? Absolutely. So Hima points out at the issue of credit cards that it would raise a problem of credit in the future times. People will be living on credit. Life udharegi. Yes, absolutely true. Our life is already credited. Why to get credit, more credit of finances? It will bear, our forthcoming generations. But that's true. But this is the lifestyle that consumerism is adopting. To, there's a saying, Amdani Athani Paisa Rupeya, right? So, Kharcha Rupaya, that means we earn 50 paise and we spend 1 rupee. This is what is credit about. And yes, this is the lifestyle we are talking about. But this is what is the credit card business about, no? Is it not? This is what NBFC is taking loans is about. So, that is the reason that RBI wants to put a strong hold correction on this, to at least know who are the ones who are doing this business, right? 0% credit right now. All right. Sadly, many of you are not answering correct. Post-independence, no. India Gate was established to respect and pay tribute to especially those names were inscribed of only those persons pre-independence who fought for British India, right? And that is the reason that we have another National War Memorial, right? Post-independence. All right. So, okay. Yes, Netra, absolutely. The correct word is C hexagon shape. C hexagon shape is the one in which all these monuments they reside, right? C hexagon of India Gate. Around this are the 6-lane roads, and inside this is the campus for India Gate, and then we have the canopy section, and then the National War Memorial, all of them. All right, so let's begin. Your daily guide to UPSC current affairs. The 3 important update articles we have is 1, an ICE360 survey 2020-21 talking about the K-shaped recovery in our country. K-shaped recovery. Let's understand that. The second one is on impact of antimicrobial resistance. Many of beautiful points put by all of you. The third one is Xenotrans Plantation. It was in news lately. We will understand quickly what it is about. This day in history dedicated to National Girl Child Day, celebrated for around 2 decades now. So we will understand a little more about this. Featured news on India-Japan relationship, 70 years of these ties, and that is why we are going to study what has been the significance of this beautiful relationship, what have been the various avenues in which India and Japan are related. Image of the day on Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, yesterday, the Parakram Divas, and we are celebrating it today here in the conversation. Terms and concepts for today. First one is moisture content in crops. The second one, the Sard Hawa and Garm Hawa operation by BSF. Third one, embodied carbon and operational carbon. Fourth, Kokborok language of Tripura, right? So 4 important terms for you today, and 3 editorials. One is an action point on forest management. The other one is on India's sale of BrahMos to Philippines, and the third one is on the tea industry. Today's case study is on the plastic man. Let's start this conversation quickly. All right. So, yes, Hima, absolutely correct now. World War I, that is the answer here. And other wars which were, succeeding to it. Snapshot 1, the first update is from a report. This report talks about the disparity in the way India has regrown after the pandemic, right? 3 waves of pandemic, and we should look at how economy has grown back, right? So some people mention it is a V-shaped recovery. Government also used to say it is a V-shaped recovery, and it was put in many government documents as well. And that is why the exam question, if you remember, there's a question in the main exam, is it a V-shaped recovery? And critically analyze and present your point, right? So they didn't say it is a V-shaped recovery. They asked if it is a V-shaped recovery in the exam and asked us to validate the points, proving them with facts. So look at what K-shaped recovery actually looks like. See? So there was a dip in the economy, and after that, some parts grew, some part did not grow. And because of regular waves of the pandemic, first, second, and third, and intermediate times, this actually went down. So this shows a different K. Had it not been that some sectors would have gone down, had the whole economy recovered back, it would have gone like this, and this would have been a V shape. This is the prime difference. We have spoken innumerable times about the sectors which went up, which went down, right? So recovering industries, it clearly mentions is technology, retail, software services, pharma, supply chain, logistics, right? Industries needing assistance, travel, industry, hospitality, food services, right? What about real estate? All of them, right? So this is what K-shaped recovery is about, and this particular survey, that is India's People's Research on India's Consumer Economy Price, this survey spoke of the K-shaped recovery. It proves that it was a K-shaped recovery, right? First thing is that you should note down some sectors, and then the other part is the disparity, right? So some of the disparity points indicate that rural India did not face the problem as much as the poor urban India. The percentage of growth of poor persons in urban area, that was far more than the impact that was seen in rural India. The second is the kind of impact that it has given to the Indians. It is also K-shaped. For example, while some people earned a lot, so richest 20% saw household income grow 39%. The income grew 39%. If it was 100, it went 139, right, in this pandemic times. But if you look at the poorer persons, their income, not only income, but their complete asset side, it plunged, it decreased, their jobs went back, right? So a very decent sizable population of the country fell back into poverty, below poverty line. Whatever gain we had gained since 1991 liberalization, it went back, right, plunged again. So it says the annual income of poorest 20% constantly rose since 1995, plunged 53%. Similarly, if you look at the richest 20%, their income grew around the same percentage, right? So this is first thing. Second thing, this was the second thing. The first one was disparity between urban and rural areas. Disparity more in urban areas, more urban poor now. The third one is financial protection against risk. See, pandemic 7.3% contraction of the economy, and the small, medium, and the micro enterprises face the worst of it. So this is the update here. What about quality of life? Same that we speak about the quality of life in urban areas, especially for urban poor, it decreased, right? Access to public goods, that was again restricted only to people who had better finances. So this is the price report, important report. You could pick up some excerpts from this proving your point, all right? The second update is on antimicrobial resistance. Iske bare mein to about this, I have seen you people are far worthier than me to speak about. Now, one thing you should know, before taking any pill, for especially a antibiotic pill, we should understand that this is designed to kill those microbes which the particular medicine wouldn't like. And this would not only kill those particular microbes which are bad for our health, this will also kill those microbes which are good for health. This will also increase, probably this point was not mentioned. The second one is that it will ensure that the microbes in the body, they also evolve with time. In fact, they are small organisms, their lifespan is also small, they evolve faster than us, and only to survive. Not that we cannot survive better, we survive far longer than them at times, but point being that their evolution, their mutation, their journey is so fast that they will adapt to the newer medicine also. And since medicine creation takes time, but the biotic evolution is faster than that, this is the reason that the medicine will stop being effective the next time we take that pill, right? So one simple example is taking of the antibiotic medicine. There is a course of it. It said, no, the dosage is such that you eat one of them after dinner at the first day, and then another one, and then another one. Doses of 3 medicines. And these are powerful enough to ensure that those microbes are killed, because there is a resurgence. See, first time, this is like this is like a hot water and a cold water is put above it, right? So first time it may extinguish the heat. This is the first time, but second time it might rise up. There might be a further insurgence or resurgence. This is the reason second dosage is given. And if at all there is something left over, it will again a dosage will be provided to ensure that this also gets killed, right? So same you can apply for the way hot and cold are examples. You can put the disease here and the antibiotic medicine here. In case it doesn't get over, 2 more doses are given, right? Usually for antibiotic. But these are powerful enough to ensure that many good things in the body also get killed, right? And this leads to many issues. You have mentioned all that. Antimicrobial resistance is one, AMR. First of all, if we keep on taking these pills, first it leads to resistance to a particular disease, antimicrobial resistance. And it is called as disease resistance. DR, right? And then if we keep taking these kind of medications, it leads to multi-drug resistance. And if we still keep taking medicines, especially if we don't know the dosage, if we don't know the frequency, and if we don't know the strength of it, right? And if we don't even know what is the actual diagnosis, If you don't know all this and we keep taking medicines, it will lead to multi-drug resistance, and in times to come, it will also lead to extremely drug resistance, XDR. This is what has happened to many people who have taken typhoid and TB medicines. Right? So if you remember the TB program, the medication has to be taken only at specific times. And this is the reason that India was also running a TB program under which people would be not given pills, but people would have to go to the center, TB center, to take that particular pill in time, right? But if people have not taken pills on time, then the dosage frequency, strength, and in fact diagnosis, it all goes wrong. It leads to multi and extremely drug resistance, and this is what gives birth to super drugs as well, super bugs as well, super bugs. Right? And these bugs, it will be very tough to kill them through any medication. This is what is this impact of taking these kind of drugs is antimicrobial resistance, right? So the points that you have mentioned, I completely acknowledge. There is a complete industry around medical sector. It also helps Indian pharmaceutical industry. There is also an industry allied to medical industry called as pharmaceutical industry. And many people are employed. India is doing well in this sector. There are imports of raw material, but India produces enormous quantity of drugs to be exported, especially generic drugs, which are cheaper but yielding the same response, and therefore exported to many European countries and African countries, America as well. This is the reason that India has some advantage here. But yes, practice of eating medicines must be controlled, right? It leads to deaths. It leads to avoidable deaths. When we see many people dying because of black fungus or white fungus or yellow fungus, do you remember this time after the second pandemic? This was majorly because of the increased drug resistance. Had people not had the resistance, these smaller medications would have worked. They didn't work, and some of the infection which actually could have been avoided in the person's body had the immunity response, it did not generate here, right? So resulting into many deaths. All right. And vulnerable section of population, people with tendencies to many diseases, people who are prone to multiple diseases at the same time. What is it called? Comorbidity, right? So this is it. Drug resistance, another one. Global distribution, right? So majorly in countries like Asia and Africa, where awareness is less, right? Taking wrong medication is the problem here. All right, so this is the update from here, and I appreciate the question and answer. This is an update. See, this is the difference between what we do and what is required. These are the valuable inputs to your answer, but the points that you have put, they will create the answer, and you will value add the content from here, right? Every content can be chosen from a current affairs, a newsletter like this, but the points are what you have put right there. All right, good. So let me see. Pooja says, how to get the PDF? I got feature news already. Pooja, yes, if you got the feature news, there is a place where you can log in on the left side, and then if you put your phone number, you will receive an OTP. You will be able to log in and take the whole PDF. All right. In case you're not able to get it, please message again. Somik, absolutely good example of TB. All right. Somik says, Niksha scheme 500 to buy food. All right. The second one is on xenotransplantation. Now, xeno means out of the body, not interior, but outside. Transplantation. Now, transplantation is the procedure of giving something to somebody from outside. Xenotransplantation, right? So, hair transplantation, right, usually happens from the person's hair itself. But there are other important transplantations. For example, kidney transplantation, liver transplantation, heart, lungs, right? All of them could be done from outside as well. Xeno. And xeno, this transplantation specifically that we are talking of is interspecies, not even the same species. This time a pig was utilized to transplant heart in a human. This happened in USA, right? So let us quickly understand what is the need of this. Before getting into this article, see, transplantation industry is a huge industry in itself. If one of the organs is failing to work properly, then if we get another organ from another human being, it is a great achievement. And if it can be transplanted, it's a big feat, gives a new dose of life to that person. But there are issues in that. What is the availability of that organ? As I talk of availability, you would definitely get to the point where you talk about human body smuggling, right? So there's a complete racket running around this. Now, another question is the kind of organ that has to be transplanted. If it is kidney or liver, these transplantations have become successful, right? People have 2 kidneys, one can still be donated. Liver, after donation of a part of liver, it regrows in the body again. But organs like heart, organs like lungs, right? The transplantation rate is not as successful. This is first thing, and we only have 1 heart. Lungs also become weak, and there could be requirement of 2 lungs with time. So this is the reason that we need transplantation, probably also from other animals. World has tried to ensure that this kind of transplantation works, but partially successful in fields of heart and lungs, and very much successful in kidney and liver. India has been one of the pioneers. Medical tourism is one of the pioneer industries in India, trying to help in kidney and lung and liver transplantation. But these are heart and lungs are not as successful. Also, some of these organs have to be picked either from a human being. For example, heart transplantation. Since we have only 1 heart, it can be only transplanted when the person dies, when the person is brain dead, but the heart is still pumping blood for a while. If you have seen a dead chicken example, because many people eat chicken, the heart still pumps and it throbs even after the death for a few seconds, for maybe half a minute, 30 seconds, 1 minute. If in this time, this heart can be again given a place to pump blood and given a blood to enter and some oxygen, it can start running. So for humans, the time is 6 hours. If the heart can be utilized within 6 hours of a brain dead human being, it is possible. But then again, carrying the heart in such a small frame of time, we need resources, we need a helicopter to translocate all this, and this is the reason that human transplantation becomes a little tough. So let's have animals do this. So many animals have been researched on, and one of them is pigs. The other one was the monkey species, and they found that reasonably well pigs organs could be transplanted. In previous times, we have also transplanted, this is not the first time it has been carried out, corneas, recovery, tissues, right, heart valves, now this time heart as well, skin, kidneys, and axon tract, axon related to nerves, axon. So all these have been transplanted from the pigs, and this time the heart itself, very good feat, but there are certain issues related to it. For example, one of the issues is that if we are transplanting anybody else's, even another human being's a body part to our own body part, it is not sure that the body will accept that, right? No, it's not just about the type of blood group, it is also about the body's immune response system, right? So that immune response system has to be suppressed. So that is why whenever transplantation happens, there is a suppressant given so that the immunity does not start to reject the external organ, right? So first is injection of the immunosuppressants, right? So this is one, and this does not work all the time. The suppressant does not work all the time. It also sometimes leads to death of persons, right? So when people say the kidney has been transplanted successfully, it only means that it has been transplanted successfully. If it will run successfully with this immunity boost in the body, it is not sure, right? So when people say 90% rate of kidney transplantation, you would see this. Many people claim this, right? Hospitals claim this, but 90% is only for a few hours. But what happens after a couple of days, 2-3 days, if the person dies, that statistics is not covered. This is one issue with transplantation. Now, the second issue is that these pigs, they are also mutated sometimes. Their body is mutated, specially grown, so that the transplantation becomes easy. These kind of suppressant doesn't, they don't have to work. The body does not have, reverse, mechanisms to, not accept the body, right? Gene editing in pigs to reduce immune rejection. This is the point that I'm exclaiming here. And this might not be successful all the time. This might not lead to creation of the right pigs in the ecosystem, right? So this is another cause that could lead to failure, because now we have started to play in nature. If you are editing genes to transplant, this is it, right? So these are a couple of issues here. and it says this is why is it for the future? Why is it for the future? Because it can lead to solving a lot of problems, right? This is the reason. All right. Okay, so this is what we have explained here. Now, instead of just transplanting these health organs, why cannot we use a far more efficient technology like gene editing to ensure that there is no immune response from the body? So we need more research. This has only been the first research and successful one. All right. All right. So we have Somik saying, is it ethically or morally good to kill any other animal to transplant? Very good question, Somik. Ethical dilemma is definitely one thing to face here, right? And when you're talking of animals for transplantation, you can also get back to the pluripotent cells, the pluripotent human cells, embryonic cells, or animal cells, which can be used to create organs or a complete new baby. So definitely ethical issue is here. Immunity, Ashish says, sir, is brain also transplanted like kidney, liver, heart and lungs, etc.? Brain transplant. I have watched some movies about brain transplantation, right? Where the brain was transplanted to another human being, and then they had a complete new body but the same brain. A couple of movies I have watched on this, but I think I will get back to you on this. And then we have Pooja saying they didn't give OTP. All right, Pooja, have you put in your phone number there? If there is a place where you can enter, where you could enter saying, yeah, this is your phone number, and then you press an enter or something, you wait for the OTP for about 10 seconds. All right, yes, stem cell, Somik, pluripotent stem cells are the ones which are pluripotent, but they are created from stem cells only. Stem cells, and then we have pluripotent cells, and then their potency reduces with time. The more foundation we go to, the better foundation we go to, the more potency that they have. All right, this day in history dedicated National Girl Child Day. Now this is the day in 2004 2008 we thought we should dedicate this day to girl child. Notably, the gender ratio in our country was 940 in 2011 census, but can you please point out what was the child sex ratio? Do you remember the child sex ratio 2011? Because that was the most credible survey. Now a National Family Health Survey has also carried out its research and says that the proportion of females has drastically increased. It is well more than 1000 per 1000 males. Now this may not be the most credible for now. We could depend on the census. So what is the proportion of child sex ratio right now, or 2011? Now this is the reason for decreased 900 plus children, 913. Is that so? So for 913 females, we had 1000 male children, and this is the reason that we declared Girl Child Day as today itself, 2008 onwards. The reason being that girl child needs to focus on their grooming, their education. Parents need to understand that girls are also important. So, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, this scheme was launched 7 years back by the government to ensure that there is funds available for girl kids also while they grow up, while they are in schools, while they grow up and get married, because these are the funds which can be later utilized for the growth of the small girl child. And this is the reason that this scheme has got importance. Just few days back, it was in news because a parliamentary committee said that 80% of the funds of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, they were used only for publicity. See, this is a publicity campaign only, but the fund can actually be utilized for girl child education. Example is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Now, this is one scheme in which parents can start a bank account for one girl child and another girl child later. They can start this and they will be getting more interest rate on saving here. So 500 rupees saving, 1000 rupees saving monthly could be put. Maximum of saving is 1.5 lakhs. Now, instead of government only popularizing these schemes, can they also contribute to these schemes? At the birth of girl child, at her 10th pass, at the time she clears her 10th examination. Yes, so that is what is required. right? So this is a quick update from there. Feature news on India-Japan relations, 70 years now. We will understand what has been the context of relationship, how it has built itself, what are the avenues in which they have diversified this relationship, right? So this is in the feature news immediately after this video. We'll cover this. Now, if you look at some of the papers and optional papers or general studies papers, many questions have been asked from these avenues only. 70 years of a relationship, and the question was asked. 80 years asked, 50 years asked, 150 years asked. Both 125 years to his birth anniversary, right? So he was born in a place called as Katak in Odisha. We will cover him immediately. Oh yes, there he goes. Netaji, Subhas Chandra Bose, image of the day, right? So marking 125th birth anniversary of Netaji, a hologram was also put here at India Gate, and later a statue will also be put here. This will be removed till the time statue is getting created right now. So he is one of the persons who cleared the civil service examination, Indian civil service examination in the year 1919, but he was not happy with the way Britishers acted during Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and this is the reason he resigned from civil services, Indian civil services, and he said, I would like to do something about this. And then he joined the struggle for independence movement in his own way. He also not only did he initiate the Azad Hind Fauj, but also went to countries like Germany, met Hitler, went to many countries in Europe, USSR, and did seek support against the Britishers. He had an ideology, and the ideology was to ensure that India gets freedom. He said, "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga." You give me the blood, then I will help you become independent. So this was his initiation. He also married an Australian lady, also had a child. Then he had some transactions with the Japanese, and then suddenly in the year 1945 he was all gone. And it was said that it was an accident, aeroplane accident that was in Taiwan, but people don't know what happened to him. There were various commissions which were established to understand what happened to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, but then it is still not known, right? So very, very intriguing stories about his life. If you could watch that movie on YouTube. All right, moving ahead. So yes, answers are here. 2011, 919. Okay, Nitra says 918. All right, at present it is 1020. Yes, 1020 for the sex ratio after National Family Health Survey. 1020. Yes, Amlan, but that is for the whole female sex population, right? German lady, Australian lady. All right, Australian and German. Okay. So the first term for today is moisture content in crops. Moisture content in crops. Government has said that for procurement of the crops, it will ensure that the moisture content should not be over a particular limit. For example, for wheat, the limit was 12%, but government would still procure 14%, 15% grains, grains with these percentage of moisture, and they would, still take as low quality grains. But what happens is, when we take grains with more moisture quantity, it cannot be stored for a longer time. There will be growth of fungus, insects, bacteria, and it would lead to, it has been said that ek machli pure talab ko ganda. It said that one dirty fish can spoil the whole pond. So similarly, few of these grains with high moisture content can spoil the whole bag of resources, and that is why government has said, and see, government needs to process these further to decrease the moisture content. So this is the reason government said that we will procure only those items with least of moisture content, right? So wheat reduction from 14% to 12% very strictly. They will not procure items with more moisture content. Similarly, paddy reduced permission limit for foreign matter from 2% to 1%, and other kind of grains as well, right? So they have increased the quality of grain, right? So more moisture content, and then it cannot be stored for too long. This is the update here. The second one is Operation Sard Hawa and Garm Hawa. Now the name itself suggests Sard Hawa is the time when there are cold waves blowing, and we also have fog around. These kind of operations, and Garm Hawa is the one which is loo, right? Hot winds, and again dust storms. These are the times when cross border, when you see India and Pakistan, These are the places where both of these winds blow across. And because of this, taking advantage of this, many people infiltrate inside Indian territory. This is the reason that Border Security Force runs these Sard Hawa and Garm Hawa every time, every year during winters and during summers respectively, so that the infiltrations or cross-border exchange of items, right, drugs, currency counterfeit, or other entities like ammunition, people, it does not happen, right? Ceasefire violations have sharply increased over the last 5 years. Ceasefire violations have increased, and during these kind of violations only these infiltrations happen. All right. Okay. Embodied carbon and operational carbon. Whenever a building is established, there is carbon utility in establishing of the building. When the building is established, we put the stones in the building, and the stone is also created with the help of some or the other carbon. Greenhouse gases are also emitted in the process. When we have crushers running for converting the stone level particles into a very sand level, gravel level particle, there is greenhouse gas emission. What about cement industry? Consumes phenomenal quantity of greenhouse gases, and so does the steel industry. Now all these inputs go into the creation of a building, right? And this is what is the resultant carbon emission is called as embodied carbon. This is one. And the other concept is that of operational carbon. Whenever we are living inside that building and we use carbon for our consumption purposes, when it is hot, we run the air conditioners, carbon emission, right? Somehow or the other, greenhouse gas emission. When we are inside the room and it is cold, we start the heater. Again, operational carbon. When we are inside the room and electricity is not there, natural light is not there, we switch on the light. Again, carbon emission. Now, these are the two kind of carbon emission that can be reduced, especially both of them, especially because greenhouse gas are widely used in infrastructure, real estate industry. In fact, building sector is responsible for 30% of electricity consumed in the country. And this is why we can cut down on embodied carbon and operational carbon. How much of engineering or architectural development will it take to understand, for example, a Japanese structure? Now imagine a Japanese structure where huts are created with the help of natural husk, natural bamboo. Example only right now, right? So these are building resistant, these are resistant to earthquake or natural calamities in many ways. Not only that, if we have places where there is natural light penetration in the rooms, on the tops, natural light penetration. If the whole building is placed around a place where there are trees, it will remain cool and calm. If there is a way in which all the water that is present here, it gets recharged in a pit around this home. Now this is the kind of structure which is more ecologically pristine, closer to the nature. This will also help humans. This will reduce the embodied carbon and operational carbon, because both of them combined result in consumption of increased greenhouse gases. Urban areas, rural areas, both. Imagine, right? So one of them is the building, the other sector is transport sector. These are the sectors which, and then we have industry sector also. They employ huge amount of greenhouse gases emission. So if we reduce this, it is going to be more energy efficient. So this is the reason Andhra Pradesh government announced its plans to provide energy efficient power infrastructure to housing building affordable housing program. All right, this is why it is in news, right? I have explained all of this. Now green building code, GBC, green building code, in these the buildings are given ratings, 5-star ratings, 4-star ratings, depending on their energy efficiency, right? All right. The fourth term in news is Kokborok language. This language is that of Tripura and spoken by many of the native people. See, Tripura is one place where it is an amalgamation of various cultures where people who have migrated from Bangladesh in Tripura, they exist, they come. Then we have Bengali people, right? Bangladesh. So these are the people living from, in East Pakistan or the erstwhile East Bengal. And then we have the Bengali people, Indian culture. These are plain areas, but people from the neighboring states have also arrived, hill states. Many tribes exist, and this has led to the formation of a unified language called as Kokborok language, an old language. Why in news right now is because the government has named a couple of places on the basis of this language. The other names have now been discarded. New names have been put based on this particular language. So this talks about the distinct culture of people of Tripura. If you remember the greater Tripuri land, we had discussed this article. There is a demand for greater Tripuri land, which also encapsulates some part of other states and some parts of Bangladesh as well. Now, these demands tough to meet, but yeah, talks about the kind of unique culture that Tripura itself has. What is the meaning of Kokborok? Kokborok means Kok means verbal and Borok means people, verbal people, right? And the language was spoken for a very, very long time in this region. All right. The questions here, let me see. If Hitler was afraid of somebody, it was Netaji. Bose. Sir, OTP. Centrives uses this language. Pooja, is it possible for us to converse in the offline chats? Immediately after this gets over, this online chat won't work. The chat which is placed immediately below the screen will start working. I will help you then, right? So let's do that. Amlan says 7 tribes use this language. Thank you, Amlan. I believe you belong to somewhere very close to this place. All right, editorials of the day. The first editorial is on India's sale of BrahMos missiles to Philippines. Now, this editorial talks about the reason India sold it to a country like Philippines. The first reason that India sold it to Philippines is direct sale. Direct sale will lead to make in India and make for the world. I have heard Prime Minister's speech many times. Directly, he talks of make in India and he also uses the word make for world. This is not known, but yes, right now we are starting to make for the world. In the last feature news only, I explained very sharply how we are amongst the largest importers of defense weapons, but not at all in export category because our scientific research is not at par. But one weapon, thankfully, we created that could be become worthy of export. BrahMos missile, 3,000 kilometer speed, and cruise missile, probably the best in its own category. And India created this with the help of Russia. That is the reason that we have a better quality with this weapon. And now countries like Philippines are demanding for it, Indonesia, Malaysia, UAE, Vietnam, Thailand, oh, so many of them, and even far more. And this is the first time we have had such a demand. India has not been able to break the silos. Silos is like, India is in a small, area, and then it is not able to open up to other people. Silos are those places where the, agricultural products are stored inside a separate chamber, right? Not open to other environments. So India was in a silos, but now with this exchange, India can ensure that, it can become a part of missile export regime also. So 3 of these sets, 3 of complete sets have been demanded by Philippines, around $400 million transaction. This transaction is not very, very costly, but India has now planned to export $5 billion of the defense products by the year 2025. This is a good target for India to lay. And this is one thing. First advantage is make for the world. The second advantage is that if India empowers these countries in the Eastern Asian region, it will be good for India because China will get restricted, contained in those territories in its own backyard, in its neighborhood, so that China does not, come to the Indian Ocean. When it is engaged already in South China Sea, East China Sea region, it will not try to engage further, or it will restrict its engagement in Indian Ocean. It will restrict its engagement around the Himalayan region. These are 2 places I would point to. Not only this, if India has a better relationship with these countries in East Asia, Southeast Asia, it is not only developing a good rapport, but these defense partnerships will also enable India's passage into East and thereafter to Russia. Remember, we spoke of Chennai, Vladivostok, and going to the Arctic region. This is the track through which we would go, passing countries like Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. These are the countries our ships will cross if we have to reach there. So this is the third point. And this will also ensure something called as anti-access area denial, A2AD, anti-access area denial. China has been denying access areas to other countries by establishing weaponry in the South China Sea region, artificial islands and missile defense system. Now these countries will also start doing this, right? Automated systems will start to operate. So many advantages for India to deliver this weapon. A question was asked in UPSC about what is the difference or how S-400 is far superior than other missile systems of the similar regimen, right? And we had discussed this, how S-400 is superior. I don't have the image right now, but I would like to discuss not only S-400 again, but also BrahMos. How BrahMos is more superior than other missiles of the similar category. When they have asked S-4, which is a foreign-made weapon, why cannot BrahMos be asked? We will understand about BrahMos as well, right? So US missiles, right? Some of them are at 900 km per hour, but Indian, this is subsonic speed, but BrahMos running at supersonic speed 3000 km per hour. See, this is what I'm speaking of. This is far more superior rate, 3 times more the speed. This is the speed. If this missile, this US missile has to, this is a Hawk missile, right? If this missile has to hit another airport, a fighter aircraft, going at 1.5 Mach, the speed of the missile is slower than the aircraft itself. It will not be able to, uske piche pad hi nahi payega, it will not be able to even meet the speed of the aircraft. But if we have a missile like this, it will meet with precision, right? This is one of the advantages. There are far other, we'll discuss them. All right. Now this editorial is on tea industry. Would you like to go to the website and read this, please? On how we want a change or we need a change in the tea board industry, and the Tea Act of 1953. The third one is an agenda of action for forest management. Forest management, this article is in news because of the recent 2021 biennial forest report, right, by the Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. So, the reality is that the growth in forest in India this time in the last 2 years has been lower than how it grew in the last 8 years. 8 times it grew, but it has grown very slow right now. So this is first issue, that the growth of the forest cover and its betterment, its quality have reduced now. Quality has grown, but at a very slow pace. Acceleration has reduced. The second one is that because of issue like climate change, we will see further deterioration of India's forest quality. This is second issue. Now during these times, this is the reason that we need some ways to better our forest, right? So the first one, it says, is being thoughtful of the definition of keeping in mind the complex natural ecosystems. See, these natural ecosystems are not just where we have put in trees. This is far more complex than putting just trees. So understanding the definition of what a natural ecosystem is like. A multi-tree species. This is the first thing that is required, one-pronged approach. The second one is diversion of forest land for non-forested purpose. This should not be done, right? Because if it is done, we are ensuring that the forest be rejuvenated again for another purpose, and it calls in for compensatory afforestation. This is where we are not equipped as well. I saw in some of the videos that if a tree has to be cut in a country like Germany, they wouldn't cut that tree, they would transplant the tree along with its roots, along with the soil and its complete earth ecosystem to another place. And in India, we cannot do that. If we uproot the tree only right now, the tree might not survive in a different kind of soil. It will need the roots also be transplanted. So that technology does not exist, and we are not good with compensatory afforestation. Why? Simply because we will try to cultivate monoculture variety of trees at other places, and hardly 10% of the trees survive in this kind of afforestation. So these funds, if you look at the data, these funds largely remain unused. People have paid that this Campa fund be used, but it is not used. This is the reason that we should not get into diversion of forest land at all, right? If you remember, I had spoken that we want to increase the forest area from 23% to 33%. So why to divert this 23% area where they are already, highly dense or moderately or light dense forest? This is the first one. And the fourth one, it says that if we have had joint management strategies adaptive management strategies. Now, local communities, somehow this has led to more commercialization of the forest areas, and this is where it should be avoided. Commercialization of these areas should be avoided. Okay, all right. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares, and we'll get on to the case study right now. Do prepare quick notes. And one more thing, I would like to know the profile of each of you watching online, being participant online or offline. I would like to know some things about you. That is, what has been your attempts at UPSC? Attempts. If you don't feel offended, please share attempts. You're optional. And anything about UPSC that you would like to share, so that I understand what is the level of preparation that you are at. That is all. All right, so this will help me understand the context from which you are operating here, right? First attempt, second, third, or your optional, your understanding level of things about UPSC, or you might want to put your background as well, right? What graduation or post-graduation you have done, right? That's it. Today's case study is on the plastic man in Senegal. I would have loved to show you a better image of him. Now, this man, he drapes himself around the used plastic, right? If you can see the image clearly, this is his head, and around him is the plastic. Now, he's from Senegal, a country in west of Africa, and his aim is to ensure that plastic usage be curtailed and restricted around the country. So he has started campaigns, many campaigns. He didn't have money enough, so he still initiated ways in which the tires could be reused for various other purposes. Tires could be used to sit. He started that, right? Not only that, for cleaning the whole city, community city. Not only that, but whenever there are marathon races organized, he tries to campaign there as well, making aware the outsiders, the tourists, not to dirty his own country, right? So tree saplings, replantation, right? Not only that, trash pickers, cleaning, the recycling campaign, plastic waste, right, should not be reused. So all these things is what he is doing in Africa. Imagine he dedicating his life to the cause of plastic pollution, and he knows that he can do something. He is popular now, right? Not just popular, it's not about popularity, it's about making our impact felt. He's doing that. How do we do that? Right now, by studying. It cannot be right to manufacture billions of objects that are used in a matter of minutes and then are there with us for centuries. I would have wanted to show you another image. I'll show that tomorrow to you. He has shared an image of carcass of animals, and the dead bodies of animals. The dead bodies have gotten disintegrated, but the plastic remains around the dead body. They were still there. So what is the use of creating of those entities for our use, which exist for far longer times and cause peril to humanity itself? A very, very important point of thought. United Nations focuses on plastic reusage or its removal, especially the single-use plastic, multi-layered plastic. We have covered quite a few articles on the plastic waste, United Nations chief focus, right? So through this, we come to the conclusion, plastic man, a source of inspiration for many of us. Conclusion of the current affairs video. Let us proceed quickly to the other video, that is the feature news video, that is on India-Japan relationship. Thank you for being a part. Please get back in case of any questions. We will cater to it. Thank you. So, there's some conversation happening. Let me see. All right, you people already started putting in your details. Thank you very much. Ravi says 51% India and 49% Russia. Thank you, Ravi. And the rivers as well. Mr. Jhala committee, absolutely. Good, Amlan. Looks like you are revising this. Very good. Bhamani says 2 attempts, public administration. Kamal says 2, second optional now, geography. Then Jyotish says 2022, second attempt, geography. Okay. Amlan says geography. Bhabani, 2 attempts, public ad, chemistry graduation. All right. Ashish, 3rd attempt. Okay, geography optional, BE mechanical. Peace lover says second. MA. All right. I will note this down for my own record. And I will also want to know your resolutions for the year. I have known many of you have put it. I have it with me. I'll map it to that, right? So that I may be able to help you all. Thank you for providing these details. Thank you, Pooja. Oh, if you're from Edukemy, I'll easily be able to get to you then. No problem. Pooja, please put in the offline comment and I will respond back to that comment. I will not be able to place a comment to you directly offline, only can respond to your comments. Please put an offline comment so that I'm able to help. Right? Thank you very much. We will see you in the other video. All right. Peace Lover asks my background. Sir, if you may kindly give your background information too. Sure. In the next video. Sure. Sure, Peace Lover, in the India Japan video.